Jason West case, the Summer Wells case, the Micaiah Bryant case. He's also known for the hard work and dedication he put in to the Kanika Jenkins case. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Mr. John Q. Let's go now. Let's go now. John Q. Yeah, it's time to go to work. John Q. What the name is? What the name? Say it loud with me. John Q. You ain't know? Let's go now. Talking the realest in the business. Ain't no real competition is living. Who got a vision to live it? Ain't no goddamn gimmicks. No goddamn limits. John go hard till he finish. John Q. Tell him what it do. I can say a whole lot about the dude. Who? John Q. Working case after case. Let's get it. Goddamn it, he meant it. Who we talking about? John Q. Evidence to the proof. John only putting out the truth. He making it do. He taking you through. Never breaking the rule. An understatement when you say that he cool. Yeah, we talking about John Q. Anybody got a ball on him $1? I will bet my bottom dollar and I put it on John Q. Shit, he better than the news. Q the truth. Shit, we talking about John Q. Put your 8 balls up. Put your 8 balls up. Let's go. Get a drummer song. Let's get it. Just how we ride. Rockin' with the best. John Q. Just how we ride. John Q. Now back to the business. Either suspect or a witness. No bad intention. I don't think I even meant John do it from the heart. He don't do it for attention. But the trolls still bitch. They should mind they business. They chillin' in the bush. Watching John get busy. We got a couple rants like tricks. She get them out quickly. So everybody make sure they attend. We rockin' with a winner. Just how we ride. So you can keep all the division. Maybe you should try to uplift. Maybe John, he was born with the vision. Make the picture with precision. Maybe if you listen, you just might get it. Cause it's a fact, John get whole YouTube shit. But it's still something acting real ick. See, John, he's a man on a mission. It's a fact that he did. Yeah, catch it if it's something real fishy. He's solid to the bone, he never switch. Alright, let's get it. Just how we ride. Let's go. Let's get it. Just how we ride. Who you came to see? John Q. All right. You know what time it is. We're live. You knew. Got my 8 balls up. Miss New Orleans lady, how are you? Brother Boss Man Blake is in the house. And we got some people in the bushes, so y'all come out and shout out. Yeah, D Love, how are you? Oh, it's Saturday. Let's see, Saturday. Things are cooking. Got some things I wanted to come on live, share with you. Say hello. Hoping everybody has got a good weekend happening. I got that, Brother Boss. Thank you. Oh, here they come. Oh, everybody's coming in. Look out. I was doing some thinking.
When I get to think, I got to go live. Marley 13, much love to you. Marley 13 is in the house. T. Sophia, hello, hello, hello. Obsidian is in the house. Much love. When Obsidian smiles, you can feel it. Yeah, see, she's doing it now. You can feel it. How you doing, Obsidian? Tanya M is in the house. I wanted to come on and connect. Been working all week behind the scenes, working on the Daniel Robinson case with my team. Extraordinary team, too. We're pulling out some stuff that, there's always some stuff behind a story. This one's got some stuff. This one definitely has some stuff. And when you got stuff, you got to unpack it. But you got to do it slowly. Unlike the Summer Wells case, which has got a lot of stuff, and then more stuff, and then newer stuff popping up with other stuff. You got to unpack that slowly too. But this case is no different. Anna D is in the house. Miss Anna D, how are you? For the first timers that are just joining my channel tonight, welcome. I hope you stick around. I hope you like what you hear. We get into, when I do my lives this way, I can go anywhere, We can talk about anything, which I'm going to talk about tonight. I can go any place, anywhere, with anything at any given time. And when you can have a flow like that, oh yeah, you better stick around. You never know what you're going to hear. But much love to my brother, Boss Blake. That brother's working hard on his channel. He's always posted in the description box on my channel. He has a home here because when his new releases come out, you don't want to miss them. I'm going to play one of them, but as we progress, anytime he hits a new release, I like to share it right quick, hot off the press. So Miss Jan is in the house. Angel P is in the house. Good evening. Good evening. Hope you all have a good weekend. Getting ready for the Super Bowl tomorrow. Miss Gloria J. Stump is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, everything is good with me, Miss Anna. Thank you. Family's doing good. Just cold up here. On Wednesday, we had to move Q squared up to next Wednesday because a tree decided to fall on one of the power lines 2 blocks away from me. It kind of knocked out some power to my house. These folks didn't work on it until the next day. I say, well, no, we keep calling until we get power back. Good thing I had extra battery reserves and chargers for my phone. But yeah, old man winter working up a storm in New York. Yeah, so we're gonna do yes, thank you. Miss Tracy is in the house. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love to you. Yes, Daniel Robinson. So I wanted to jump on here tonight and just shake it loose with you a little bit. See how y'all are doing. See what commentaries, what thoughts you'd like to share with John Q, me tonight. I'm not going to bring anybody up on panel, so you ain't got to worry about a long live. Not unless y'all want me to, but we just going to take it one moment at a time. But it's good. It's all good. I'm glad everybody's doing well. Hopefully everyone is navigating this winter without issues. When the power came back on, I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to readjust, adapt, and then move on. That's what you do. When you get a challenge or an adversity that happens to you in your life, and it shows up unexpectedly, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, it's a problem. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to think about this. I hope this and I hope that, and I pray for this and I pray for that. I mean, you can do all that. I mean, it's a natural thing to do, but I look at certain things and I say, okay, what do I need to do? Need to make a phone call? How can we manage to address this issue and take care of it? So I had no control of the power. So, okay, got to leave that to the electric people. Fix the power lines, get things back to normal. I lost a little bit of food because they didn't show up until the next day in the afternoon to actually trigger power back in to where I live. But it tore down some power lines, and it was a tree with ice that leaned over and decided to crack with all the ice unexpectedly. Yeah. So we got that issue taken care of. Hopefully, we won't have any more issues like that, because when you lose power, that's no good. No good. So how y'all been? Y'all keeping busy? What's new? And we can talk about anything tonight. What's new? What's new? Talk to me. Say his name, Daniel Robinson. Yes, Tanya. Absolutely. Counting the days till spring. Yeah, me too. Me too. I can't wait to swing into next month like everybody else. I like the warmer, seasonable temperature. You can get out and go and not worry about black ice and getting caught up in traffic for, 3.5, almost 4 hours. These things do happen. And when you least expect it too, you think go out, go to the store, take about 10, 15, 20 minutes at best, grab what you need, get back in the car, come on home. No, well, that didn't happen the last time. Well, for me. Had to deal with some black ice and some people that didn't know how to drive. 3 people at best. 18-wheeler, tractor trailer, decided to jackknife 2 lanes and 2 cars. 2 lanes and 2 cars. Unbelievable. Young drivers at that. I found out that the one who went to the hospital with the smashed up Toyota Camry went to the hospital and he was 22 years old. 22 years old. Yeah. He had a baby seat in the back seat, but no baby, thank God. And another SUV wasn't damaged at all, but the Toyota, the front end, gone. The 18-wheeler jackknifed in front of them both for some strange reason, couldn't stop, crossed both the lanes, and shut the lanes down. We were about, I don't know, 9, maybe 10 cars back, just waiting for the light, waiting for the light. That's what I thought it was, waiting for the light. Traffic didn't move. The other side traffic, 2 lanes heading the opposite direction, was moving. I'm like, okay, they're moving. What's up with us? You stick your head out there and you see the emergency vehicles way up in front, and they had a number of them. Fire department came out and took care of the Toyota. And when I found out it was a baby seat in the back, I said, oh, please don't tell me he had a kid. Sure enough, he was driving by himself and couldn't stop. So interesting, these things that happen to us in life. What do you do? What do you do? It was an adverse moment for him, as it was for the tractor trailer and the SUV and everyone else that was stuck in that traffic that night. What do you do? Sometimes you can't do anything. You got to sit tight, pause, think. Then if there is something that you can do, you do it with all your might and to do the best job you can do. That's all you can do. Yeah, thank goodness there was no kid in that back seat. Mm-mm. But yes, Tracy, we're doing good. We're doing good. Thank you so much. Let me start to get used to doing this so that this way y'all can see how I'm reading everybody. Yeah, it would have been a mess. Most likely it would have taken longer to get home too. But give or take nonetheless, with Godspeed. With Godspeed. And then we had the power go down on us. Early? I didn't know it until I got home, but it was early Wednesday afternoon, close to 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I'm like, oh no, I got no computer, got no Wi-Fi. Let me call Q. I called her. Actually, I texted her, let her know what the issue was. And she was like, oh, damn. Oh, don't worry about it. Make sure you got, battery backup for your phone and you're okay as long as you're good. I said, yeah, I'm good. Just a minor inconvenience, but we got through it. Next day, power came back on and I went back to work behind the scenes working on the Daniel Robinson case. We're finding out some extraordinary things about some peoples in that case. Extraordinary things. When I took on that case, I knew that there was some issues about it, but my goodness, where we are now? Red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag. Just like the Kanika Jenkins case had red flags for me, the Cash Gernon case had many red flags. Summer Wells had a huge red flag on it. The Orrin and Orson West case, classic and sincere, major red flags, all on videotape too. But this one is not on videotape, not out in the desert. This one was, well, let's just say is a challenging one, but they say success leaves clues in everything. Or should I say, successful clues leaves the right evidence all the time. If you know that you're looking for certain things that begin to connect real quick, you can put it together. We're starting to put some major pieces together in that case. I want to thank Miss Liplock No More for giving us a major shout out on her channel concerning the Daniel Robinson case. Love you, love you, love you for doing that. Thank you. Major shout out to Oklahoma for supporting the channel. Major shout out to Miss Anna for supporting the channel. Major shout out to Brandy Bradford supporting the channel. Y'all sneak attacking me with little love gifts that I find out about when I'm off. Because I try not to handle too many devices. My tablet is one that I'm reading the chat on. The live that I'm doing from StreamYard is another. And then from time to time, I do get some text messages that do show up on my phone. And so I have to grab that device in order to address the text message. Has the area where Daniel was working been checked for chemical components? Okay, the entire area where he was working at that well site, or if you can be a little specific, because most of the information that we've covered on my channel pertaining to the site where he worked, he was dealing with a well along with a pump technician when he arrived. So the story goes. So if we're talking about chemicals in the well, chemicals on the land around the well, that would help. Okay, where he was doing testing at the time he was working. Okay, that is still undetermined at this time, whether his test results, whether they be water or sand or rock material sediments, based upon his assignment, that information would go back to his company who assigned that particular job to him. So that hasn't been made public in any way, shape, or form. So we don't have that information, but if it does become available, we will put it out as to whether any chemicals that he was testing for did show up. Good question. Very good question. Oh, Tracy, please hit the thumbs up. I hear you. Thank you, love. Kenny Earl is in the house. How you doing, Kenny? Hope all is good with you. Thanks for joining us. I'm still leery about nuclear waste. That's interesting too, because they do have a nuclear power plant that is south of I-10. It's a nuclear generating station that does produce nuclear energy. to the region. But he was far north in the Sonoran Desert where the well site was. So if he was testing for any kind of element, I believe it was more the water than anything else, because that area has a water issue. As we posted in the last live that I did with Renegade, we're able to identify the community development that is breaking ground and going to be built on all of that desert land. 37,000 acres at $600 million. This is a conglomerate joint partnership that has been heavily invested in that area for quite some time. And I guess that would be one of the reasons why Daniel was out there to begin with, was to test that water. Check the elevations, check the quality, the quantity, all that stuff, along with the pump technician from the other company. In doing so, and I really don't see how he could have done any testing according to the police report, because the timestamp has an issue in it. There's a major issue in the timestamp from the time he got there. That's okay, Miss Liplock. You're not late, love. You are not late. I gave you much love and a big shout out at the beginning of the live for doing case coverage on my channel pertaining to the Daniel Robinson case. So tonight we're just going over some Q&A. I haven't really done any touch bases with you in a while. I've been handling casework. You put this stuff together and you can begin to take a look at the big picture. Nuclear power plant is 14 miles from the area down. Okay, yeah, just about. South. Yeah, in that area. So whether that has anything to do with it, it hasn't showed up yet, but we are looking at everything. And we got a lot to look at. Good question, Leanne. Are there or have there been any new developments in the case? I'm sure there are some definite developments in the case. And I'm waiting to speak with David Robinson about those developments to see how his search was this weekend. I am eagerly waiting to see if he checked that well with the tire that was on top of that well, which is not too far from Daniel's vehicle. Why that tire was put there and for what reason that well cover was broken. I said, David, you got to check that well. That is a red flag. That is a big red flag in this case. Who in the world would put a construction tire? And when I say a construction tire, we're talking about one of those construction vehicles, whether it be a John Deere, a bulldozer, a Bobcat, or something. Any one of those big machines that has those kind of wheels on it. Who would take one of those wheels, and it appears to be a dead wheel, something that got blown out, and used to cover that well site? You see? And you are not supposed to cover those well sites. You know, those well sites have inspection covers on them. And I'm sure that BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, has inspectors to go out there to check those closed wells and closed mines periodically, sort of like a HUD inspection every year that one would get if you're receiving any kind of HUD subsidies, for housing, let's just say, you know. So they would definitely have to have some kind of an inspection team to go out there and check those wells and make sure that those tags are kept registered with the Department of Interior, which is a branch of our United States government. They are the one who handles all the contracts, all the land management contracts across the country. So if you have an issue with any one of those types of items that you're responsible for, especially the government, well, yeah, you need to get and have those things inspected properly to make sure that they're either secured, working, the work order is perfect, et cetera, and come back with a straight report. But that well is very interesting because it wasn't too far from Daniel's Jeep, where it was found in the desert. There have been some questions and debates about the time that Daniel's car, his Jeep, was found. Now, they state it was July 19th. Now, according to the report, the Buckeye Police Department contacted David Robinson on the 19th and stated that they had found Daniel's Jeep. David was kind of startled and quite surprised and somewhat pissed, in a sense, to say, well, why are you calling me now? Because they had found that Jeep the day before, which would have been the 18th. And I say, who knows? Might not have been the 18th, could have been the 17th, could have been the 16th, could have been the 15th, could have been the 14th. And then they decided to contact Mr. Robinson on the 19th. Because according to the report and what we've been able to cover, on June 25th, when a Firebird helicopter was allegedly dispatched to do an aerial search of the area, according to Buckeye Police Department, they didn't find Daniel's Jeep. They covered a 5 to 10 mile radius of that whole entire area by air. They didn't find his Jeep. What does that tell you? Was the Jeep there? Tells me I don't think so. When they went back July 9th and 10th to do a Civil Air Patrol aerial search with good equipment, they didn't find Daniel's Jeep where they found it on the 19th. Tells me the vehicle wasn't there. I hear you, Miss Jan. If that plant exploded at one time, there could have been radioactive material in that area via the wind, via waste burial. I agree. I agree. And it's amazing what you begin to take a look at when you begin to compare the police report to the actual crime scene itself, which was never taped, never marked, never truly identified in the report. That's a no-no. No one with secure equipment, as far as we could find, and I'm talking about evidence collection equipment, wearing the gear, the booties, and everything else to collect exterior evidence outside the car and interior evidence inside of the vehicle when it was found. It was stated in the report that fingerprints were dusted, both dry and wet, off of certain items in the car. We have deployed airbags, all of them. There are 7 airbags in a 2017 Jeep Renegade, and all of the airbags were deployed. Did they thoroughly check for DNA on the airbags? No. Did they check for DNA on the steering wheel? No. It just appears as though in the report, all they did was check for prints. Outer door lock mechanism, interior door lock mechanism, the steering wheel column, the gear shift, the push button start button, the seat belt buckle itself. It's pretty much the few items that they did check and search. Oh, well, that's great. No, I didn't get to see Crude AF on Daniel's piece, but I am so glad that other content creators have been putting out Daniel Robinson's case on their channel. I noticed my numbers between Summerwell's case. I'm going to be up front. I noticed my numbers when I did work on the Summerwell's case. My numbers were through the roof. Through the roof. I did one line of sight video live that's posted on my channel right now. Got well over 11,000 views on it. We did a line of sight walkthrough, that whole entire area, the house, the driveway, the dog trail, Ben Hill, Beach Creek, the shed down below, the drive that Donald took home that day, allegedly, who ended up down on Beach Creek at that bottom area shed, stated where he went, where he saw his boys along with the neighbor, turned around, and then went to the residence. I look at that video and go, wow, there are a lot of folks out there that's really into this case. I do a case on Daniel Robinson, and my numbers are not the same as Summer Wells. It seems like there are more people interested more in Summer Wells than Daniel Robinson. It seems like more people are interested in Summer Wells than Classic and Sincere or Warren and Orson West. And I'm looking at my numbers and I'm going, why is that? Well, because number one, a lot more content creators are covering Summer Wells' case, so they're really following that story real tight. But I seen something that beat the Summer Wells case when Gabby Petito's case came around. Did you? When that case came around, the numbers went through the roof, and Summer Wells' numbers went right, almost tanked. Every time you turned around, Gabby Petito's videos were all over the place on YouTube. There wasn't any one in the true crimes sector, that is, not covering that case. I didn't cover it. I didn't cover it. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And I figured that folks in the true crime community would, I guess, have an equal eye on various different cases that they're covering. But my goodness, Gabby Petito's case outdid the Summer Wells case, then to some degree got resolved in a short order of time. Once that was done, everybody went back to Summer Wells. The marathon was finished, and everybody's still on Summer Wells. Meanwhile, Miss Q on her channel is bringing up child after child after child after child after child, missing, domestic violence here, child abduction, all over the place. And I'm going, nobody else is showing that content but a few content creators that I've searched for. I can go north, and it's Summer Wells. I can go south. It's Summer Wells. I said, well, the hell? What the hell's wrong with Daniel Robinson's case? I just started seeing a dichotomy. Separation, so to speak. And I said, you know something, that sucks. That really sucks. But Summer Wells is an active case. An extraordinarily active case. Every day, something new, someone else pops up. A new statement is made, and people are just drinking the water of it. It's crazy. I've been on other content creator channels, share some of my thoughts about the case, because I stopped doing Summer Wells after the marathon. Because everybody else was covering the Summer Wells case. I said, there's no need for me to continue. What am I going to say about Don saying this that other content creators are already mentioning? Or Candace, or Grandis, or Allie, or H, that hasn't been already said? So it's a lot of recycling, as far as my opinion is concerned. It's a lot of recycling, and of course, personal opinion behind it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. What I kind of felt some kind of way about was the fact that they weren't covering anybody else's case. And with all of us out here, I said, wow, that's sad. Everyone has I guess, a different point of view on the cases that they cover, and that's fine. As one content creator to another, that's fine. But it does disclose and it does reveal maybe a certain attitude. I don't know. For lack of a better word, a certain point of view when it comes to other cases that are just as important as the Summer Wells case. But I'm kind of disappointed that it turned into a feeding ground for a host of content creators out there. But we still want justice for Summer. I still believe that she's alive, being held up someplace. I've always felt that. I still feel it today. And if anything should change because of the dynamics of the case changing, now that Donald's in jail, we all know that, Candace has got to make a decision on whether to stay on Ben Hill with Grandma or pack up and go someplace else. Now, I gave you an 8-hour live in 2 seconds by saying that. I don't need 8 hours to find out what Candace is going to do. And I'm just putting my point of view out there straight. This is just John Q talking, you know. But I just believe that we could do more as content creators to get other stories out there aside from Summer Wells. When that case gets resolved, what are folks going to do then? Who are they going to talk about? Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But like I said, I'm not here to do any kind of bashing or anything. I'm just noticing something. I just noticed something. We've seen content creators fight over one another, bash one another, try to snatch channels down. Unbelievable kind of activity around that case. Going on 8 months now, the 15th. For Daniel, it'll be the 23rd of this month. 8 months for her, 8 months for Daniel. These two cases took off in the month of June. And it's extraordinary to see what's really being covered and what's not. How you doing, Sky Chan? Sky Chan, I've got a question for you since you're here. You had mentioned something about Caitlin contacting her brother for help. Could you elaborate a little bit on that in tonight's chat? I wanted to touch base with you on that because I found your comment very interesting. Very interesting. In addition, there have been some content creators covering other missing persons cases. Miss Lip Lock No More on her channel, and she is quite passionate covering the cases that she's covering on her channel. Anytime I can grab a cup of coffee early in the morning and I know that she's there, I know she's covering different cases. I like that. I like that. Miss Q is doing it on her channel. Miss MTGV TV is doing it on her channel. Miss Queen Talks Crime is doing it on her channel. But there are some dedicated content creators that are on the Summer Wells case and stuck. And it's sad to see that. It's sad to know that there's a dichotomy there. It's sad to know also that other content creators that are out there covering the case has a difference of opinion. Like I said, we see what we see. We hear what we hear. But I'm going, wow. I said, with all of us here, we could cover such a spectrum of various different cases out here and give updates, on the Summer Wells case. We could do that. We could have no problem doing that. And this is where you have to make a trend happen. And so I decided to make a trend happen for Daniel Robinson. And more, I'm beginning to see content creators starting to pick up on the story. Which is good. It gives their channel breathing room from the Summer Wells case while sticking and staying on it. Yeah, when they don't even know him, Tanya, that's right. How could somebody meeting someone for the very first time say that this person's acting odd or this person was acting weird? Only to know that they just met them for a brief moment. 6 minutes, according to the report. Daniel showed up at 9, and his car registered on the odometer meter reading 58,129.90. 6 minutes later at 9:06, when his car started again in a full cycle, it read 58,129.90. 6 minutes later. So how the hell could he have been there for 15, almost 20 minutes, according to the pump technician's statement to the Buckeye Police Department? How could he have been there that long when his car wasn't even there that long? And between 9:06 and 12:54, we have an entirely different reading. Which put an additional 23.6 miles on his vehicle. 23.6. Now, we've done the research because we're covering the case. And it's starting to look very odd. Very, very odd. And when you can start to find an oddity like the canopy being left at Caitlin's house and a text message that says that Daniel had already collected it, and Caitlin going, "Oh, well, I'm confused." So, yeah, I got it already. She didn't know that he went to her house to get his canopy, which he did successfully. So you have to ask yourself a question. Well, how the hell did he get it if she wasn't home? If she was in Flagstaff? Or, better yet, she wasn't at home. How did he get the canopy? It could have made it look like an accident, Miss Jan, you're right. Yeah, that's right, Tara. That's right. Makes it look like something, and I always give that an appearance of the fourth kind, things that are not but yet appear to be. Things that are not but yet appear to be. On the 19th, Buckeye Police Department decided at 8:54 to call David Robinson, who was there since the 26th of June from South Carolina, decided to give him a call and say, "Oh, we found your son's Jeep. We found it yesterday," which was the 18th. David said, "Well, why didn't you call me then?" "Oh, well, we don't want to disturb your sleep," was their answer. What would you have done? What would you have done? And that's a very good question, Vet Girl. Much love to you. No search warrants served on anyone yet. Why is that? because Buckeye Police Department has been dragging their feet on this case early in the game. Early in the game, 3 of their employees, from Officer Cruz, who picked up the missing person call and recorded it, to Officer Haley, who did his investigation primarily all on the phone. No face-to-face interviews, nothing. Everything was done over the phone from the office. All up until the 26th of June. Daniel goes missing the 23rd. He finishes his report by the 26th. Amazing work. Amazing work. How do you do that when you're supposed to have an active missing person case? It didn't get turned over to the detective until the 30th. Okay, so what happened to the 27th, 28th, 29th? Almost 4 days later. It left one police officer to go to detectives, and the detective didn't pick it up until the 30th to begin his casework. So we got 4 days there. Oh, wait a minute. We got July coming in. So what happened on July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Before the 6th, until they were contacted about sending up an aerial search team, which was the Civil Air Patrol, by the way, that had to get authorization through their supervisors and personnel that didn't show up to begin their work until the 9th. And then went back out for an additional 3.5 to 4 hours on the 10th, covering a scope of a 5 to 10 mile radius, 15 to stretch it, and didn't find Daniel's Jeep. How is that so? Because it wasn't there. That's why. It wasn't there. That's just my opinion. Wasn't there. All 7 of the airbags deployed in Daniel's car. If Daniel was in that car, you have 2 chemical agents that deploy these airbags in a 2017 Jeep Renegade. We discussed them on the lives. These chemicals not only deploy the bags, but they go through the bags once the bags deflate. The impact of these bags are enormous, and they could cause skin damage as well as physical damage. We shared that information on the live. And we're looking into that. We're looking into finding out whether Caitlin may have had something to do in regards to Daniel disappearing. You know, she had a girlfriend there the night that Daniel made that food delivery. You know, the order was wrong. He went back, he corrected the order, then brought that order over to make the delivery. And she had a girlfriend there. They were drunk at the time. They invited him in. They asked Daniel, hey, do you want to hang out? Miss Q did an excellent video of the actual police report on her channel. The most recent, I think it was yesterday. You need to, if you don't want to read that 54-page report, don't worry about it. Go to Q Carlock's channel and listen to that report. Stop and start, stop and start, pause, stop and start, pause, stop and start, pause. You'll get some great information from that video because she explains word for word, date for date, timestamp to timestamp, period to commas, exclamation points, and missing stuff on that video. You'd be amazed to hear how she reads it and what she says the report states. Amazing work. Yes, Sandy, EquiSearch was contacted. Not only contacted, but they were contacted by us to speak with Mr. David Robinson. They did speak to Mr. David Robinson. And according to what was mentioned, the search type, they're all different kinds of search. The search type fell beyond the scope of what they could possibly do. However, they were going to make a referral to specific team and group of people that were capable, much more than they were capable, in reference to the wells, the vertical wells and mines in that area. How that is being followed up, we're going to be finding out. But yes, EquiSearch was contacted and was in contact with Mr. Robinson based upon Daniel going missing. Radioactive material travels. Look at Chernobyl. Yeah, I remember that, Jan. I remember that. That was a big fallout, and a lot of people were affected. Yes, this is a red flag. Airbags deploy under certain circumstances with weight requirements. You can pull the airbags from the vehicle and send them. Yeah. And that's exactly what Mr. Robinson is looking to do right now. Have the airbags in the vehicle and his clothes forensically checked for everything that we talked about in our lives covering the Daniel Robinson case. His reporting to us live during the time Miss Q and I have covered the case gives that information. You can hear it right from David's mouth. What they did, what they didn't do, what they should have done but didn't do, everything. Because he's the guy on the ground. He's the one out there since the 26th of June looking for his son in the Sonoran Desert, which is 100,000 square miles of the toughest terrain next to the Mojave Desert that sits northeast of it. And we've covered that information. We've given you the dimensions on how wide and far that desert is, the wildlife in the desert, the mountain lions, the scorpions, the snakes, all of the wildlife creatures that live and just dwell in the desert. I do have my theory. Thank you, Robin, and good evening to you. Always enjoy your true crime content. I love the fact that you are knowledgeable and compassionate with all of you cover. Justice and prayers for all. I hear you, 100 from Indiana. Thank you, Robin B. Much love to you. Much love to you. LC, Justice for Victims. How are you? Thanks for joining us. That's good, Leanne. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad another content creator is picking up on this case, because when you can take a look at what we've taken a look at, you're going to stick and stay a little bit. It's going to get to you. Yes, and that's good. And Daniel does deserve it. Daniel does deserve it. And that's why I was hoping that by creating a trend and asking folks to share the Please Help Find Daniel website with other content creators, that word would get out and get more and more awareness out on it. That way, more and more people in Arizona doing the searches with David could be out there to help him search, because he's doing it independently with the folks who live in Arizona. No assistance from the Buckeye Police Department, no assistance from any outside agency whatsoever during these searches. Now you got to figure out, why not? How come? Here these folks knew about Daniel being missing since June 23rd. You mean to tell me nearly 8 months later, we're still looking out there? We're still trying to find him? But who's trying to find him? Why aren't they helping in a better way? Man's from South Carolina, folks. That's like me going from New York to California out there to look for the West Boys. California City. I'm going to go someplace I've never been, talk to people I've never spoken to in my life about searching for two boys that went missing out of the household of somebody on their watch. In the house. In the house, folks. It's far different being in the house than outside the house. But in the house. And how far is one's back door to the backyard enough to miss your kids? What the hell were you doing? How long did you take your eyes off of your children? Now take that and go to Summer Wells. Same thing happened there. Candace was preoccupied with grandma fixing her knee brace. Only took 2 minutes, maybe 5, give or take. I can't remember. Turned around, and all of a sudden now she's concerned about Summer because she already knew where the boys were. Got an answer that Summer was downstairs playing with her toys. She yells downstairs for Summer, no answer. And that's not like Summer not to answer. So she goes downstairs and there's no Summer. She's just gone. What happened there? Same thing. Same excuse or same idea? Because it's always somebody else's idea. That sounds more to me like an idea than it is an excuse, but used as an excuse because it's a good idea. And that's what was used in the Summer Wells case. That's exactly what was used in Classic and Sincere's case. The same preference. Oops, my mistake, but I can't say that. I got to put it on somebody else. Wasn't me. Kind of attitude. Wasn't me. I was there. I was doing my job, and all it was a couple of minutes, and I don't know what happened. 2 minutes out of one case, maybe a moment out of another case. And here we've got someone that relocated to Arizona out of South Carolina based on a good education as a hydro field geologist, just starting life, worked for the company for at least a year and a half, 2 years at best, had his own apartment, bought his own Jeep vehicle, wanted to share that great news with the family, yet he goes missing in June, and the family was supposed to visit in July. Yeah, Summer Wells's case was tanking during the Gabby Petito case. Guess what? Same thing happened with Daniel. Daniel's case was buried in that same time. And you've heard that come from David's mouth. The lawyer mentioned who in an interview? Mentioned me, Kenny? I hope so, Gail. I mean, whatever's moving in Classic and Sincere's case, I hope it's happening swiftly. Because it's far too long. This is over a year. Those two boys been missing. If there needs to be some DNA swap, let's go. And that right there is a controversial statement, because if somebody needs DNA and there's a holdup, okay, what's the holdup? Are they telling us something? And great, Beaver, from your perspective, I could see why you made that comment. Because continually looking at it today, yeah, one could make that statement. And the opportunist came out and jumped on it. Oh, great. Okay, there you go, vet girl. I'm glad Mike did that, because Daniel's case needs that same exposure. And thank you, brother boss. You're covering different cases on your channel. I believe that's what true content creators do. We're covering these cases. We just don't get stuck on one. Now, my channel is different, because if I pick up a case to investigate, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to give it my time. I'm going to give it my best time. I'm not going to try to be right all the time, but I'm going to deliver to my audience, my subscribers, what I see, my perspective, and putting myself in that person's shoes, looking at that case, whether it be the investigator on the case or the parents involved in the case or whoever's involved in the case. I'm going to transform myself into the case, because I want to know the truth. That way, when I come back, I can bring exposure to the case. That's what good content creators do. It's about education, so we know what to look forward to if at all they show up where we live. Whether it be child abuse, horrific child abuse. I don't believe any child should be abused. Spousal abuse. No spouse should be abusing any spouse. Hey, if you can't get along, get away. Remember, they taught that same stuff when we were kids. Separate two kids from fighting. Can't get along, get away. Huh? Like relationships. Can't get along, get away. I put it down just the way I see it. Put it down just the way I see it. And there's no need for anybody to be doing anybody any harm, really. It's just people are losing self-control. That's the bottom line. When you break it down, people are losing their own self-control. They come out of their element, so to speak, their naturalness. They let their guard down. And they get into other people's minds and brains and all this other stuff that doesn't even belong to them. That's not sanitary. When have you heard John Q? When have you heard me get involved in any of that? Since I've had my channel. Any video, any live, I don't care what it is, pick it out. Tell me. I don't, because it's a waste of time. It's counterproductive to everything that I'm doing. Why would I? Yeah, you're right, boss. Yeah, some of them get barely 50 views. And that's the sad part. Meanwhile, these other cases that have been in the mainstream media, well, the social media platforms for the longest, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months now, they're still charging on them. If Donald hiccups, that'll be tomorrow's news. And can be spoken about, 3, 4, 5 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours? Shit, so there's some people that make a job out of it. That's what I've seen. And that's a sad part, because they lost the original idea pertaining to the content that they were supposed to provide. That's just my opinion. And they have to dwell on feelings, other people's feelings, that is. And if it's not pertaining to the case, then it's pertaining to another content creator. That's the sad part. I sit here and scratch my head. What? No. You know what I do? I turn the channel. Just like the TV has got that button, click to the next channel. I turn the channel. It's that simple. It's that simple. It hurts me to be the one sitting there listening to all kind of innuendos, gossip. He said, she said, they said, we said. Oh, I don't stick around for that. As soon as I pick it up, I say, oh, I'm out. I can't even mention them on my channel as a channel to go to. I don't think people listen to what I think about the two baby boys and Harmony. It's like no one wants to talk about it. Lip lock no more. Does try to. Yeah, you can go to her channel and she'll put it out there. She has put it out there. Evidence is on the channel. Evidence is on the channel. I love it. Because anytime I decide to do any kind of research, I know where to go to get it. I've got a lot of content creators that I know where to go to get it. When Miss Queen Talks Crime started covering the Jelani Day case, I went to her channel. I said, let me see what she's got. Then I joined her, I think twice, and we did some case coverage. She did content on Summer Wells. I joined her a couple of times. We did some case coverage. And then she's interchanging case, different case, different case, different case. She'll recycle back around do a little bit more on Summer, do a little bit on the boys, do a little bit more on Jelani, do a little bit. That's how you cover the cases. Excellent. That's exposure. My opinion. Just like Liplock does on her channel. That's just exposure. Just like Boss Blake does on his channel. Exposure again. And when you can do that, you know where you can begin your research. At least you know a content creator that's covered that case. Here it's like a deadfall. Now you do your own research. Well, that's what we had to do with Daniel's case. Until I found the Grizzly True Crime, until I found You Knew, until I found Miss Q, and then she asked me to look into it. Right after the during the Summer Wells marathon, I said, sure, I'll do it. I put it on my desk. We wrapped up. Here I am. How many video lives have I done on Daniel? It's on my channel. All you got to do is just go there and take a look. And yes, we need to start holding law enforcement and national media outlets accountable to treat all cases the same, with the same care. It is very disappointing that they don't, only because there's money attached to it. It's what the sponsors are going to pay for. What gets coverage, what doesn't. How long a case gets coverage, it was a saga on the Gabby Petito case unfolding, not only on social media, but on regular national media. Birds in the air, people on the ground riding all kinds of vehicles through the forest, through the swamp, I'm like, what? There was no fundraising in that. Not like we did for Summer Wells to put that out there. Where was the FBI? The FBI was there. FBI was on Summer's case. FBI was temporarily on Classic and Sincere's case before it moved from California City back to Bakersfield. I don't believe the FBI is a part of Classic and Sincere's case today. I don't. Bakersfield's got it. They haven't shot out the FBI. You see the guy in the suit, in the black suit and tie, standing behind anybody in Bakersfield police every time they do a press conference? No. Summer Wells case, if you could squeeze anything out of the media, they're not standing back there with the black suits and ties. Special agent from so-and-so, special agent from so-and-so is working with us. No. Neither are they the Daniel Robinson case, unfortunately. Why the hell not? There should have been FBI on this because there's federal land in that desert. You've got operating wells and you've got closed wells and mines in that desert under the Bureau of Land Management. That's federal property. Where the hell are they now? You don't see the guy in the black suit with the shirt and tie and his special agent, this, that, and the other thing, working alongside of Mr. David Robinson out there with resources to try to help find Daniel. They let that man go out there by himself and put together his own damn team. And you mean to tell me that somebody said, oh, he's doing such a great job, we don't need to get involved? Really? We don't need to get involved. He's doing a better job than maybe we could. And yet he still needs the drones. He still needs the cameras that can be submergible underwater to check wells. He needs the cameras for the mines. you know? And so, yeah, we have to hold law enforcement accountable. We have to pay careful attention to what they're doing. And yes, Sky Chan, yeah, the pray for the boys, pray for Summer, pray for Daniel, pray for all of them. It shouldn't be happening to any one of our children, any one of our family members at that. At that. And when it does, oh, everybody should be on the beam. Not just covering one story, but everybody should be on the beam. And yes, Liplock, I agree. I agree. But there's something going on there. There's something going on there. A letter was written December 27th, 2021, from Daniel's father, David. And it was directed at the chief of police of Buckeye Police Department. Now, I'm not here to bash the Buckeye Police Department, but they're making a name for themselves. And he specifically asked for a second time, requested specific personnel, specific equipment, specific items to help him get the job done because there is an upcoming groundbreaking community development starting to take the stage out there. And it's very hard and time consuming to search the way he's doing it without the equipment. Chief Hall knows that. What you do speaks so loud. What you say, I can't understand sometimes. Yeah. Yes, T. That's right. You know, and I got fabulous love to all those content creators. If ever I need to find any case I want to pick up and profile on my channel, I know exactly where to go. And it's just too damn bad I can't say that about other content creators because I name drop on my channel. I've been name dropping for a long time. I bring them up on panel, name dropping them. My job is to help us to grow together as a community. Whether you call it true crimes, whether you call it something, those that cover these cases like we do, those that have the proper content, does the proper research, and puts it out there and exposes a lot of this stuff, those are the ones I'm going to run with. And it's just too damn bad we don't hear any other content creator names out there on other people's channels. Now, it's good to see, and this was just recently, it's good to see that there are some content creators making up, I guess, from all the bashing from the previous time. Well, it's good to see that you shook the stuff out the carpet. Picked up a lot of the broken furniture that was there, repainted the walls, put some new lighting in there, maybe some new furniture. I'm glad to see that that's happening. But then again, on the other side of your mind, you go, I wonder how long that's going to last. Vet Girl, yes, Daniel's police report has been released. First one, that we have was the first copy that I was able to get my hands on. Any other police reports that's out there will be, I guess, under the discretion of Mr. David Robinson and his family. If there are other police reports that followed up on the first one, but the first one is the one that we were able to get, we were able to talk about publicly, and we were able to have it recorded on Q's Carlock's channel. It's what she just got finished doing yesterday. And it is a dynamic report. And please, if anyone is in here is interested in finding out about how the police reported Daniel's disappearance, please go to Q Carlock's channel and listen to that report. You get some great notes from it. And it is a benefit to your education because you figure if one police department out in Arizona, a small local police department, is operating that way, how many others are operating the same way? Yes, I know that you have been working other missing children cases, Ms. Liplock. But as far as other agencies being involved right now, not yet. Not yet. And I'm with you on that, Miss Jan. You know, why people take their time to step in just to make a not to even make a point about it, as much as it's been. He's covered mainstream media, he's covered social media, and I'm talking about David Robinson. He's been on the Dr. Oz show. He's been at the Red Table with Jada Pinkett Smith. He's been on CNN. He's been on News Nation. He's still covering the media circuit to get the word out about Daniel. And we're working alongside of him. Yes, YouTube is a big media source. And there are content creators who can try to put a lot of these cases out there. The viewers pick and choose what they want to watch. It's not going to help. True. Very, very true. And part of that is, the sad part. That's the sad part. And that's why we have to continue trending the case. And when I say trending, I say a content creator has got three choices in carrying any case out there on their channel. One, you trend it. That means if nobody knows about it, you keep that case on your channel until other content creators begin to pick up on it. That's a trend. You create the trend. You start the trend. If one has already started and it's fresh and it's brand new, you can pick up on that trend and carry the case that way. If it's been out there for quite some time, you can pick up behind the trend and carry the case that way. Either way brings exposure. Either way. Yeah, resources that folks need to know about. And if you get a chance to create your own channel and tap into these resources that could help other people in these different situations, by all means, that's why having a channel is a great idea to have. Miss Yunu's doing it on her channel, making contact. The viral team is out there doing it. Now, when you got Team Viral, which is an upcoming Table Talk, we're going to have the viral team on Table Talk next Sunday. And you have content creators doing different things, collaborating together, networking together, marketing together. I mean, it's extraordinary. And we're going to bring that to light. It's an incredible feeling to see how people can really work together, just like we did in the Summer Wells Marathon. And so to see that happening in a different way and promoting each other, now, hey, that's how you grow a community. That's better than getting stuck on one, because it gives you a variety to choose and select from. And the people behind it are just extraordinary people. And we want Daniel found. We want Summer found. We want the boys found. We want justice for Cash Gernon. Justice for Kathleen Moore. Justice for Xavier Harrelson. We want to find Michael Vaughn. I mean, I can spit off the names right to you. We want justice for Kendrick Johnson. It's going to be very interesting in the Amara Nicholson case. What's going to happen with the boyfriend that ended up apparently killing little Amari because he wet his diaper. That's right. We need to start the conversation. And that's what I try to do here on my channel. Do it through Table Talk. Do it through Q Squared. Q the Truth. And I'm doing it right now. Because it's the best thing that we can do as content creators. And all cases matter. All children matter. I mean, I take a look at another example of a content creator that I'm going to be looking forward to having on Table Talk, Chris Thorne. Now, you go to his channel, and he'll tell you the news. That is a hard-working boss right there. He will tell you the news because he covers a diversification of cases. White, black, Chinese, it don't matter. It's just all bad. But he brings exposure. He brings exposure. And you hold a magic light when you do that. You take responsibility for a case when you do that. You're responsible for the content that you put out when you do that. You have a medium, a communication porthole with the people that connect with you when you do that. And when you can do that, a lot of people know that. A lot of people appreciate that. Then they know where to go to get information from. Not gossip, not drama, not bullshit. He said, she said, we said, they said, that. Oh, he called me a name. Oh, he call him back a name. All this back and forth shit. No, that's not even worth anybody's time. But people do it for drama. People do it for entertainment. Maybe for comedy. people have the choices. Just like Boss Blake said, people have the choices. You know, they have their moods. I want facts tonight, I know where to go. I want comedy tonight, I know where to go. Let me find out who's shooting the shit, I know where to go. Who's cutting it up, I know where to go. Thank you, gymnastics. Yeah. You know, and like I said, every time I do a live on a case, I hope to make a contribution. Not just me, but hopefully to those that want to pick up. Sky Chan, you said something in a chat, in one of my chats, about Caitlin's brother, her calling her brother for help. Could you help me understand either what you meant by that or how you meant that? Because that stayed on my mind as I reviewed the chat, because I wanted to know how you came across that information, whether she did or not. I mean, that's a vital piece of information that could be looked into. I'd like to look into it, but I need your assistance. No, his car didn't break down at the gas station, as far as we know. He did drive to work. According to the police report and the mileage that was recorded on the odometer, and that is according to the report. Yeah, she doesn't even have a backyard. Okay. I had to picture that for a minute. I literally had to picture that, yeah. But according to the report, she said in the text message that the canopy was in the garage. Canopy was in the garage, but she didn't know that Daniel had already picked it up. And if she didn't know he picked it up, then how did he get it? How did he get it? SM card. You're talking about the SM card or the memory card that was taken out of Daniel's phone? No, that hasn't been found. Who's taking care of Daniel's finances and private property? Well, Mr. Robinson has got his private property. The finances also have been taken over by the family. His clothes and items and Jeep has been turned over and released to Mr. Robinson the next day after he was informed they found the vehicle. His question is that if there's an investigation, how can you investigate something you have no evidence on? If you've given me back all the evidence, what investigation are you doing? Where would she park if she was in there? Leanne, clarify. Where would who park? I don't think so either. Temp said they didn't do anything with Daniel's Robinson's apartment. He's not in their system. either. And Q said cops were there from temp. According to what the Buckeye Police Department reported in the report, yeah, they contacted temp police to go over to do a wellness check. They couldn't get into the apartment, so they converted it into a wellness check. And they checked the apartment. Well, they didn't find Daniel nor his vehicle in the area. Now, Anna, if they're telling you something different, I don't know how to approach that. If they're not going to tell you, then I understand how they approached it. But according to the report, they did do a wellness check on Daniel. No, vet girl. Even the United States Marshal isn't involved. Not yet. But basically, for David Robinson, checking that well with that big ass construction tire that broke through the cover, and whatever he finds there is going to determine if the search is over or it needs to continue, because that is a major red flag in the case. That is a huge red flag in the case. And I only say that because it is not too far from where his Jeep was found. You start to go in the direction of the evidence and what's out there and what it's leading you to. You got bones, you've got wildlife, because the lion's den is less than a mile away, about a mile to less than a mile away from Daniel's Jeep. Now, they are down where that corral and water tank area is, the area that we shared with you on one of the case lives. And so them being south of Daniel's Jeep, that's 2 sectors south of Daniel's Jeep, and checking that area, it really all depends, and once they go south, they can continue going south, but when they do, they're going to bang into private property. And that's where you need consent. People might not like you on their property, and you're looking for who, and when was this, and they may not know anything about Daniel going missing. Could put up a fuss, and that puts a time barrier on the search. But so far, we haven't heard that yet. So far, the search has been uninterrupted at this point. So as much of the area that they can search right now, going southwest and then continuing going west, up into that area, you start to get into federal land under the Bureau of Land Management. And if anything, and I've said this before, if there's anything that belongs to Daniel that may have been taken or dropped on that side of the property line, hence it should open up the door to the federal people to step in. And I'm praying that that's one of the crowbars that's used to open up the door to the feds to get in. Anything. The sad thing about the report is that it doesn't give us a full itemization of all of the things that were found and located in Daniel's car, in Daniel's Jeep. There's a lot of different things to look for. And when you're using a volunteer search group that's not trained actually to look for certain items and upon how to collect them, for any kind of evidence, DNA evidence or likewise, they have to go out there and look at everything. They found a phone recently out there in that area, not too far from where that well is, with the tire that's been placed on it. Okay, so now they've got a phone. As soon as they get that phone checked, who's that phone gonna turn up? Whose name is going to be turned up at that time? They're going to find out. So there's a lot of developments and new information coming in on the case, but it's being handled properly, according to the search team that Mr. David Robinson put together. Yeah, none of it is acceptable. You expect law enforcement to do their job properly? This is not the way to do it, and we could see that. We could see it. Well, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Miss Lorraine Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon you and your family. Thank you for joining us. That is what Mr. Robinson believes, as well as I do. There's a lot about the vehicle, according to the photographs that we were able to take a look at, and analyze. We're still looking to analyze the right side of the vehicle, because that's a very telling side. The side where we found the red paint, or something that appears to be red paint, on the front end of a collision buckle. Also, there's yellow paint there too. It's not just red. We found yellow paint on that collision buckle on the right-hand side. And we are matching up what that yellow paint may come from. Now you go back to the desert and say, okay, what's red? What's yellow? Now you got to look for red and yellow things while you're searching for Daniel out in the desert, because it came in contact with his vehicle. Is there a pole out there? That may be red? Is it a 55-gallon drum that may be red? Is it made out of metal? Is it made out of wood? Are there fragments on the collision buckle site of the car? There's a lot to take a look at, but one thing definitely speaks loud: that it is a red color, and there's a yellow color there too. Now, if there was another vehicle coming toward Daniel, opposite Daniel, on that thin dirt road, and one of them had to give pass to the other, that could have been a point of collision. But one vehicle opposite you, heading in your direction, that buckle could have come from. Hence, two people on the right-hand sides of their vehicle had to turn left to avoid each other, because that's the only place the right buckle collision could have happened, with two people trying to turn left away from each other. Was someone playing chicken? on that narrow dirt road that may have caused Daniel to come off that road and go into the ravine, and that ravine being 15 to 20 feet deep in depth and at an acute 35-degree angle up on the other side of it, there's no way he could have cleared that ravine. So the vehicle pitches forward, bounces back, and then ends up on its right side. Can't get out the right-hand side. You're stuck in a seatbelt on the left-hand side. Your driver's side window's busted out. You've got the airbag up in your face. You've got shattered glass from the windshield up in your face to deal with. The passenger side airbag, the ceiling airbag, the two rear bucket seat airbags, along with the rear cam portion of the vehicle. 7 airbags deployed. You're hanging from a seatbelt trying to get out. Daniel only has his left hand to deal with. You unbuckle yourself from that seatbelt, you fall automatically to the right-hand side of the vehicle. They've got glass to deal with because we don't know if the right-hand side passenger glass is intact or not. So now you've got to crawl out the vehicle through the sunroof, which that lid had popped off the vehicle during the collision. Now, could Daniel have been in that vehicle? Well, the damn airbags will tell us that once the DNA is checked. See? Right now, I don't believe Daniel was in that vehicle at this point until DNA is taken from the airbags. And that vehicle thoroughly searched forensically because the chip card out of Daniel's phone could still be in the vehicle, caught up underneath something. So the vehicle has to be cleaned, if you will, vacuumed properly, if you will, for all kinds of different sediments, elements. The seat needs to be checked. His driver's seat, passenger seat, the 2 rear bucket seats in the back, along with where his equipment was. Was the battery dead? Inoperable? Was it unhooked? We don't know. All we do know is that the US Connect system to Daniel's vehicle was never activated because he never activated the account on that system. So there would have been no way to track Daniel's vehicle. That's what the Buckeye Police report says. That's what they stated. Forensically, the phone has got to be checked. Messages in, messages out, text messages, access to social media accounts. All that's got to be checked. And not only the day of him going missing, but at least a week prior to him going missing, how conversations were had on Daniel's phone. Even his Instacart job, deliveries that he made, the application that was triggered in order for him to make deliveries, time tracking on his phone, GPS time tracking, etc., etc. Only forensics is going to bring us that information. And that's what David's looking to have done right now. And 2 of his latest videos, he's literally asking for support, help in that department, because it ain't cheap. Not cheap. When you're dealing with these kinds of things, he's going to get it done, folks. And that's the only direction that I'm with him on. We got to get this forensically checked. So if we got to do a fundraiser, we got to do a GoFundMe. You got to put up a special kind of thing. Let's do it. Let's get it done. And he's having that information checked out as I talk right now. So if you see all of a sudden I go live and we're talking about a fundraising challenge and we're talking about a GoFundMe challenge, or Unu is doing it, or Renegade is doing it, or Miss Q is doing it, or Queen Talks Crime, MTGV TV, or any one of us doing it, we got the approval, because it'll be the first thing that comes out of our mouth. And it should be posted directly on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com's website so that we can begin directing folks to that fundraising activity that's going to help David get those items forensically checked. Jeep, clothes, electronics, everything. Everything. Could I give you a ballpark figure right now? No, I cannot. I cannot. All I want it is up and running so I can start working on it. Just like we did the Summer Wells Marathon. All we did was have a conversation. That conversation led to one little donation, led to another little donation, led to another and everything evolved from there. All the way across 10 days and hours I couldn't even put on my hand until it was done. Because when it was done, well, you know the result. I don't need to tell you that. And I know I'm getting behind in the chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, and then it's a strong possibility, Vet Girl. That's right. Because the impact from the airbags is enough to shock the hell out of the body. Mucus, saliva, urine. For some people, it's other biological matter. Hair follicles, you name it. We're talking about DNA. So it's coming from just about any place from the body. And the first thing that's going to happen after an airbag deploys and contact has been made on the body is for the hands to automatically push it away from the body. So for an airbag to deploy 1/20th of a millisecond, you're talking about a very hard impact. Enough to save you, but enough to also injure you as well. We talked about that. Robin B., good evening. Always enjoy your true crime content. I love the facts that you are knowledgeable. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Robin B. I think I read that post before. Much love to you. Welcome back, Queen Talks Crime. Well, I mean that's all being looked into. It's all being looked into. Okay, Anna. Sky Chan, you'll ask who to talk to me about what? Because you brought up a very interesting comment, and I don't know if I may have skipped it, but I'm very, very curious as to how you've been able to learn. Caitlin asked her brother for help. If so, then I know where to look. That's good, Leon. Yeah, work on the small ones and it comes up. Bring it up slowly. That's how it helps. Great, vet girl. Thank you. Thank you. You know, because I wasn't going to do a thing on the Summer Wells case. Everybody else was covering it. Everybody was covering it. Oh, what is it? August? I think July and August I was covering Cash Kernan. And people were asking me, John, are you going to cover Summer Wells? Are you going to cover Summer Wells? I'm sure that you do real good work on it. What am I going to do that for? Everybody's already covering it. Yeah, but you bring a different perspective, and you look at things from an entirely different point of view. I'll think about it. And the push was hard, so I said, okay, let me see what I can do. And hence, I was able to produce what I was looking for. How do you take a 5-year-old in broad daylight from her house without anybody seeing? We'll get to the why. The why is the case itself. Why would somebody do that? I just wanted to know how without anybody seeing. How was this done? What did she do? Walk off? She followed one of the dogs down the dog trail and went too far. Before she knew it, she didn't know where she was, and somebody snatched her up. That was one point of view I looked at. And it's a strong possibility that could have happened. They had a whole bunch of dogs out there. She followed one of her favorite, digging and sniffing and digging and sniffing. And, before she looked up and realized that, hey, I'm not in the backyard no more. I'm out here on, I don't know, Ben Hill Road, Beach Creek Road. That could have happened. Could have happened. Accident could have happened. Hide and go seek. Did she fall down the stairs in the house? The boys got spooked, shut up, didn't say anything. That could have happened. Dry drowning came up. Whether she ever left the car after the swimming hole. Hard to tell from a still shot picture of her leaning up against 2-gallon-sized milk jugs. Hard to tell. That could have happened. So there are a lot of possibilities, and you're looking for the probability. The one that really sticks out the most, that's most likely, more so than the others, which probably happened. And to this day, it's still a conundrum. I'm going to swing down to the bottom here. I'm going to get down to the to the new stuff down here. I'll try not to skip too many. I'm just way up top. Well, we don't know 12-step women. We do not know whether any DNA has been wiped clean. Don't know that. Do not know that. Now, since you brought that up, this is an important point. I brought up the point of July 9th and July 10th when the Civil Air Patrol went up with their drones and flight equipment and cameras, and I believe they used sonar and radar. No, radar, not sonar. And did a landscope, or what they call as a landscape, and where they map the land, fly over it, and then track every micrometer of what they're photographing, and then send that data right back to command center, right? You figure with at least a 4.5 hour flyover, coming from east to west, north to south, south to north, west to east, and then diagonal, and cover all that land, and then put up a land map stating what they covered, and did not find that vehicle by July 10th, it automatically says the vehicle was not in the desert July 10th from June 23rd. When he went missing. Now you have to ask yourself, where the hell's the Jeep? Where's Daniel? On July 10th. Yeah, people out there searching, and still, even then, they did not find that Jeep. I'm going to say until July 18th, when the rancher stated that he found that Jeep, and he was with someone when he found that Jeep. It's in a police report. I would like to hear his explanation on land, how he was able to find a Jeep on 3 other search occasions by the air could not seem to find. How did he find it? Now, he talked to David Robinson about tracking cattle in that area. Now, was you tracking it north to Daniel's job site, or were you tracking it south from Daniel's job site? Were you tracking it from the west to the east? How are you tracking your cattle? Needs to be explained. How did you come across the Jeep? What did you do once you located the Jeep? Did you call someone? Did you photograph it? Why did you photograph it? Did you touch anything? Did you pick up anything? Was the person that you were with touch anything? Did they pick up anything? How far away from you did you stay from the Jeep? How close were you to the Jeep? Why did you decide to call? What made you decide to call? I got a lot of questions for that rancher. How long did you find the Jeep before you contacted Buckeye Police Department? I tear them all up. Did you remove anything from the vehicle? Did you have anything to drink that day? Are you under any medication on that day? What kind of cattle were you tracking? Do you regularly track your cattle during that time? What time of day was it? Morning, afternoon, early afternoon, late afternoon, early evening? Chop them up. How did you track your cattle? Were you on horse? Or were you in your vehicle? What kind of vehicle do you drive? What kind of tires does your vehicle have on it? Do you use binoculars, or is it just a visual? Did you go anywhere down in that ravine? Answer is yes, you did. Because we got evidence of you taking pictures up close of that vehicle that you turned over. Oh, yes. We got that. We do have that evidence. Anything could have compromised that crime scene. Anything, anybody could have compromised that crime scene. How long did it take the Buckeye Police Department to respond to the call that was made when you made it? What time did they come out? Was it a single patrol car, or did they double up? Did the chief come out? Once the car was identified, whose it belongs to, who else showed up? Was there a crime scene technician that was dispatched at that time? How long did you stay? You ever speak to Mr. Robinson personally? Oh my goodness. Oh, he wouldn't like me. He wouldn't like me. And it's not just the initial interview. I'd get him. I would have with him. I would have him take, but it would be the follow-up interview if I found out any discrepancies. Right. Good question, Sky Chan. And I believe you're talking about Summer. Did they? Did she go to the water hole that day? Did the cops say that that picture was from the day, from that day? See, you got questions too. Yeah, there's a lot of questions I would ask. And this is where, when you get those kind of questions under these circumstances, you want to be able to piece together how people get to know precisely why they were there. Yeah, they do have technology to keep a track of their cattle, Leanne. You're right. We took a look at pictures of cattle. Oh my goodness, all over the place, and how they tag their cattle, how they know which ones are theirs and which ones aren't. Bag them and tag them. But yeah, there would be a lot of questions, not only to him, but it would be to his partner who showed up with him. See, but his partner is not even a part of the report. Wait a minute, let me back up again. The rancher doesn't even have a narrative in the report. Just a generic, a rancher found the Jeep from the lead detective. That's all, folks. All of the questions that I just got finished covering, not even a part of it. What time of day? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it leads you to in that place in your mind that says, really? You were able to locate something that law enforcement officials were unable to locate? How is that possible when they checked it from the air? How is it possible when they checked it from the air? We've been all over that quarry because we checked it from the air. We checked it from the ground. We put a lot of hours in that area where that Jeep site was. No, nobody says not a word. Not a word. You have to ask yourself, okay. Who is this rancher? Uh-huh. Who is the person that the rancher was with that day? Uh-huh. What did they do to help in the search? If they did. Uh-huh. We're starting to ask the right questions. We're going in the right direction. And guess what? We're shaking loose, people. We're shaking them loose. We're shaking them loose, and we're providing that information. I can't do it on my live, though. Not yet. With full disclosure, once everything is covered the way it's supposed to. But yeah, it would make one wonder. Why hasn't the Buckeye Police Department been more active in looking for Daniel, his own dad? Yes, he was, Cat Eyes. Yes, he is, I meant. And that would make sense for them to use drones to track their cattle. It would make sense. Especially if you got a whole, steer load of cattle to deal with. Oh, yeah. Well, Anna, I can't call the rancher. I'd scare him away. Are you law enforcement? Oh, my name is John Q. I have a YouTube channel. I'm covering the Daniel Robinson case. I wanted to see if I could ask you just a few questions about your finding of Daniel's Jeep. Click. What are you, police officer? No, just a concerned citizen and a parent trying to assist Mr. Robinson in finding his son. Click. The toughest part about the search for Daniel Robinson in the Sonoran Desert is a line search. You need a lot of people to do a line search. You can get drones, you can get ATVs, you can get razor tracks, you can get a whole lot of different equipment out there, all fast paced. But when you do a line search, you are looking by foot for evidence. You're looking for tire tracks, you're looking for drag marks, you're looking for horse prints, you're looking for cattle prints, you're looking for horse dung, cow dung, everything that you should see that fits the picture of everything that you should know regarding the search. Everything should match up. unless you find something that's not natural in that picture. Once you do, obviously you photograph it, you call your team around, they photograph it, and then you decide whether to leave it there, mark it, and contact the police for the marking and for the isolation and security of that piece of evidence. That's what you're supposed to do. But you see, it takes people to do that. And this is why David Robinson joins us on these lives to tell his story, to share that information with you. So you're brought up to speed as to what he's doing, what he's looking to do, what he hopes to accomplish by getting this done as soon as possible. This is why it's so important for everyone to be aware of this case. The more people in Arizona know about Daniel Robinson, the more help David Robinson would get. It'll put pressure on the police department to get the equipment out there to help him. Possibly even direct to indirect pressure to get the federal people out there. Make sure that they don't find anything of Daniel's on federal property. Arizona's a one-person record consent state. Thank you, Anna. That's a good question, 12-step woman. But for some reason, he was tracking cattle for that day. How often does he track his cattle? Thank you, Francis Dean. Virtual hug to you too. Yeah, Anna asking about your husband home tonight. What are you talking about, Anna? That's an excellent question, 12-step. That's right. Now, the evidence of cattle, you want to talk about the evidence of cattle, there is a corral and water tank south of not too far from Daniel's crashed Jeep site. Not too far. Got to be tracking it either to it or from it. Yeah, John. Yeah. They most certainly would have equipment like that, especially for those that have to care and maintain corral areas. Absolutely. What tracks are you referring to, Anna? Which tracks? I mean, we located a lot of different tracks: car tracks, truck tracks. Cattle evidence, I thought you were going to talk about. Yeah, Leanne. Yeah, that out there too. We talked about horse dung. Maybe I'm pronouncing the wrong name. Let's just say some horse shit. Cow, they got some stuff too. Yeah, boot prints, footprints, vehicle tracks, truck tracks, you name it. Leading to, going from, crossing over, crisscrossing in, crisscrossing out. How Daniel's tracks were tracked to the ravine. There's a lot. It's a lot to look at. As we've shared during the lives covering the case. So, but we're not only breaking ground on that, we're breaking ground on new information. And hopefully I'll be able to give you an update on that coming up. But first I have to check with Mr. Robinson on a lot of the information that we were able to find. And it's just not myself, as a team working with me. An unstoppable team, too, at that. We can go for hours, and we have gone for hours. Looking, reading, viewing, researching, cross-referencing, reverse referencing, making sure that we vet the information as solid. Everything that we've come across and touched is solid. Irrefutable. So, but one step at a time, one day at a time, we're putting the pieces together. I just wish that, law enforcement would have been able to cover everything that we're doing. But that's another story, which will also unfold as the case continues to make its progress. So I wanted to jump on here tonight and just touch base with you. And once again, let you know that we're still on it. We're still working behind the scenes, covering what we're covering. And that's why it is so important to share this information, share what we've been able to share with you. Which is this website. Please help find Daniel.com. Share this. This is so important. And if you haven't signed the petition, takes a few seconds. First button on the tab, right there. Doesn't take that long to say, yes, let's find Daniel. Let's get this baby in motion, because Mr. Robinson wants to use this information to most likely contact the Attorney General, but he wants a solid number that cannot be denied. And the only way to do that is to share this information. As content creators, that's what I have asked every single content creator to do. Take 15, 20 minutes, 30-minute live, just a simple live, just bringing attention to Daniel's website, about the petition, about any kind of donation, $2, $1, anything to help keep David Robinson in Arizona searching for his son, Daniel, while we are working together to make headway in the other areas to help get those resources in place to be utilized in complementing what David has already put down. He wants to find his son. In all aspects of this, I'm sure that he's also mentally, spiritually, and physically prepared himself to know that this is possibly a recovery mission rather than a rescue. But he wants to find his son and bring him home. That's the key to this. Just like we want Summer Wells found so that she can come home. Not to the home that she left, but to a better home, because she's got plenty of healing to do from all of this stuff. Same thing for the boys. Not to the home they left, but to a better home, because they also too have tremendous healing to get through from all of that case's stuff. Yeah, Liz, that's what they do. Liz, that's nothing new. That's what they do, love. And it's sad because those are the ones could be putting out new cases. Those are the ones that could be exposing new cases. But they have another agenda in mind. And like I said, the truth is right there. I mean, you don't have to look too far as to what the real deal is. Come on. But like I said, I'm not here to bash them. That furthest thing from my mind. I just wished more content creators who have bigger channels jumped on a lot of these different stories that need exposure. Really. Point blank. I mean, we could do so much with stronger numbers. You just can't do it from one or two or three, different channels. The community got together and shouted out every name that we've come across. Holy smoke. It put pressure on the mainstream media. Now we got social media talking about all these different cases and everything. I think we better jump on some. Yeah, well, yeah, we think so too. You're sitting up there talking about the bad news of the world. Why not expose what's going on here in the United States? Now you got to talk about South America, and you got to talk about this, and we got to talk about a possible war with Russia. And okay, what can anybody do about that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But what we can do is bring exposure to the folks of this country, called the United States, on bringing awareness to what the hell's going on in our country. We got children going missing for some strange reason. Let's chip in and fight that war, not turn a blind eye to it and look across the seas and some other country that's got nothing to do with us. They're not supporting our children. They're not educating our children. They're not raising our children, feeding our children, clothing our children, helping our children become better people for themselves, building their self-esteem, and building them spiritually. Come on. And likewise, the same. This country ain't helping no other country do the same thing. Come on. We're the ones who got to wake up. We're the ones who's got to do it. We're the ones who've got to hold law enforcement accountable and every other agency that is there to serve and protect. Period. As Q Carlock would say, period. People get sick and tired of the bullshit. Damn. I don't mean to flex too hard tonight, but y'all get my point. This is important. We're staying on this case We're making sure that we get exactly what this case deserves. Not only public attention and awareness, but if this case gets resolved. We want Summers' case resolved. We want Classic and Sincere's case resolved. All of these cases that got twisted up into something else that is not, got marred up by social media. We want justice for these cases. That's a simple point. Simple point. Thank you, Ms. Yunu, for posting. Please help find Daniel.com. Our campaign is to focus on finding Daniel. Our campaign is to educate those that are part of our channel and other content creator channels that I've mentioned here tonight to support this. Spend 15, 20 minutes just sharing this. I've shared 2 hours and 2 hours and 42 minutes with you tonight. Just to come out and talk with you and share some of this case with you. But this is not the only case I'm keeping my eye on. Jelani Day's case is on my table. I think we've done, as I said, a piece with Queen Talks Crime on Jelani Day. He's still on my table. Kendrick Johnson's on my table. There's going to be a number of them coming off my table and going live. So we can go over these cases. We can find out what authorities have been doing to these cases. We can do our very best to try to hold these authorities accountable for allowing these cases to go to the wayside, not getting proper resolution. The Ahmaud Arbery case, wow. For once, we actually saw what happened to a young man, 25 years old, just jogging. And what happened to him and all of what transpired from that case up until it went to court. And there was a trial by jury. And all three of those guys are guilty. Solid. Hands down justice. Oh, but we don't want to be convicted of the federal crime of it and everything, the hate crime of it. Sorry about that. You can't slap that away either. Holding people accountable. And that's the kind of justice we want to see on all these cases. If somebody loses their life the way Ahmaud Arbery did. So hands down, people stand up. People shout from the roofs. We're not going to take this shit no more. No more. That's it. That's enough. 21st century, we got the technology. We got the supposedly competent people. All right. You don't do your job, you're fired. Vote them out of office, clean the slate, start again. That's how we do it, folks. I'm not going to get a political on you, but that's how we do it. Somebody's not doing their job, fire. And the way you fire them is make a change. Make a change when you vote for the sheriff. Make a change when you vote for the assembly. Make a change when you vote for the senator, when you vote for the congressman, when you vote for anybody. Just make a change. Don't let these guys stay one term after another term after another term. After these people grow old in our face. They go in with black hair and come out with white hair. Come on now. What is that, a movie? Hell, I was on the city planning board and commission in New York City. I spent 3 years. One term is 3 years for the Planning Commission and the Zoning Commission. After your term is up, you give somebody else a turn. It's called public service. You don't live there until they open your coffin and have the hole dug because you ain't got no place else to go. You're so old. Come on. They're not doing anything to become complacent in their work. They're treating us like we're the ones that have to bend a knee. Come on. Not here. And I know I don't run with people who bend a knee. We don't do bended knees here. We stand up. We buckle up. We knuckle up. That's what we did for summer during the marathon. That's what buckling up and knuckling up is. And we took our hits. Oh, yeah. Big time. But we won anyway. Can't take that from us. Can't take it from Summer either. She got nearly $74,000 sitting up in the Civis Bank right now. Has been there for quite some time. All they need is somebody to talk. Donald's not going to talk. Well, I don't know. He's in jail now. He may talk. Candace may talk. Who knows? Grandis may talk. H may talk. Allie may talk. Who else is involved? Jose may talk. All these characters. One of them. All these characters. Jody Sue's talked too much. She disqualified herself quite some time ago in my book, anyway. For a person that didn't want to be in the limelight, damn, she's on more channels than I've ever been on. But yeah, that's what we need to do, folks. Stand up. And to do it, expose it. Get it out in the open. No, we're not taking this no more. This needs to change. And we stay on them until it does. We stay on them until it does. They don't do it, guess what? Fired. Next. And we send our message. And this country, maybe, just maybe. I know. I may be hoping for too much. Just maybe has a chance. Because the way these knuckleheads have been running it, it ain't working, obviously. We see that. Everything is breaking down. Then they replace it with something worse. Only to replace it with somebody else who's worse. So we can change that. So my message tonight is a simple one. It's a real simple one. You know, come together, stay together, grow together, live together, stand up together. That's what we can do. What else do we got to do on planet Earth? Okay? All of our times is short. And we can only invest our time now for the next generation's time. Let's make sure that we're doing our part so they can do their part. Maybe they got a chance. And us raising kids, all of us who have children, we wanted better for them than we had it, remember? There's still a value in this country. We need to push that value harder on the people who's supposed to be working for us, not against us. That's where I stand. I'm old school. I'm proud of it. Do I think contacting the contractors would be helpful? Contractors, Leanne. Contractors. Which contractors? I know that I've missed a lot of comments. I get in a I get in a get going. I start moving. But yeah, we keep it simple. Keep it simple. So if you haven't signed the petition, please do. If you'd like to make a donation, if you possibly can, a couple of bucks, just a couple of bucks, just to help it along, just to keep David in Arizona to find his son. That's all it'll do. That's all it's going to help to do. And at least we know that we've done our part to do our job. At least we know that we've done our part to do our job. God does the rest. That's why I always say, with God speed. It can happen no other way than with Godspeed. Land contracts. Well, we'll definitely come back and talk about those items. We're currently working on. My team and I are currently working on aspects of Bureau of Land Management, looking at various different enterprises. And people. We're looking at everything, but we can only do but so much in the time given and allotted to us to do what we can. But we're making some major headway. I feel good about that. And every day I wake up, I know that there's more work to do. I've had my little speed bumps, so to speak, on my side, whether it's a 3.5 to 4 hour, stuck in traffic because somebody got into a car accident, or a tree falling down on power lines and knocking my power out. But we're still marching. We're still pushing. We're still moving. We're still grooving. We got an upcoming Q Squared on Wednesday with Miss Q, as we always do. We'll be back next week on Sunday with a special table talk. The viral team is joining us for a special table talk. You don't want to miss that. It will be trying to schedule it at a proper time. I will obviously post it before then, so you know what time. Going to get some things confirmed up. But that you don't want to miss. Also, we're looking to have Mr. Chris Thorne on Table Talk. So, like I said, we got a lineup coming. I want to try to have a nice variety of different table talks, and obviously content creators to join us for Table Talk, as well as you, my audience and subscribers. Open discussion table talks. I love those. But y'all don't never want to come up. I dropped the link all night long, and y'all just sit in the chat room. It's like, that's not fair. Have me do all the work up here. John's moderating tonight. Yeah, let's drive him crazy. Let's chat like you would not believe, and let's let this chat room fly right past him. I bet you he can't keep up. He won't even highlight my chat. Watch. What you laughing at? Lakeisha, what you laughing at? I'm just glad to have such a blessed group. Anytime I do a live, I believe me, when I'm done, I feel better. I feel much better. Every single one. Yeah, that's going to be special, Miss Yunu. That is going to be special. I am so glad we've got that finally booked. And I booked that sucker, what, almost 3 weeks ago. Just trying to get through a number of different things, though. But yeah. Yeah, I know, Renegade. I know. You start digging it, it's hard to this guy. Oh, forget about it. I gotta get you some Unisom, Ambien, Nitol, something to put you. Randy just keeps going. 8-ball fired up. There you go. That's right, Mr. Unu. 8-ball fired up. That's right. Don't forget the lock and key. Don't forget the lock and key. Oh, man. Anyway, I'm going to leave y'all. I'm sure that y'all have other business that y'all could tend to, but I do appreciate y'all just dropping by. I wanted to say hi, and you came by to say hi, too. It's always good to connect with you, let you know that we're still in motion. And if I don't go live before Q Squared Wednesday, we will see you Wednesday, because we are doing behind the work sessions with our group team on the Daniel Robinson case. So I'll be in contact with them shortly. I would thank you too, Miss Anna. Thank you. Much love to you. Leanne Ferguson, always good to see you. Miss Jan, always good to see you. You knew, I knew, they knew, but you knew too. Always good to see you. D Love. Lakeisha Douglas, it's always good to see you. Always good to see the folks that just come out to say, hey, yeah, John Q is on. Catering Wrench, thank you for showing up. Sky Chan, I still look for that extra commentary. Caitlin's brother, why does she call him for help? Help in what way? Come on now. Help me. Email me. It'll be in the description box underneath the live. Email me, Sky Chan. And we can talk privately if you don't want to post out anything in the chat. That's understandable. Adoptionscams.com. Always good to see you too. And y'all can chat away, Miss MTGV TV. Always good to see you, love. Yes, we'll be talking about you. I know your ears be ringing. We'll be talking about you too. Yeah. Heard you've been doing some great things with Mr. Boss Blake. And it's good to know that there's some growth happening. I love it when growth happens. You'll experience that, oh boy, when we do our next table talk with the viral team. You'll know what it's all about. We're going to be checking everybody's analytics. And we're not going to be talking about the panel that's going to be on Table Talk. We're going to be talking about the chat room's analytics. We're going to get some analytics from the chat room. Because we want you to show us your analytics. Francis Dean, much love to you. Queen Talks Crime, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Yeah, we're going to get into some analytics. Yeah, we're going to do it the right way. Oh, man. I love you guys. Gymnastics 101, always good to see you. Liv Parson, always good to see you. Sky Chan, you know what to do. Hit me up on that email so we can talk a little bit. I think we can make a connection with certain things. I know we can make a connection with certain things. That's what we're doing. 12-Step Woman. Thank you so much for showing your love and being here, supporting the channel. All right, folks. Well, you know what that said. You know what time it is. We got to wrap it up. But much love. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. All of you. Hey, until next time, be well. Stay blessed with Godspeed. I'm John Q. Let's go to work.
All the way from New York City. He really doesn't need an introduction. He's worked on several cases, like the Horn and Orson West case, the Summer Wells case, the Micaiah Bryant case. He's also known for the hard work and dedication he put in to the Kanika Jenkins case. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Mr. John Q. Let's go now. Let's go now. John Q. Yeah, it's time to go to work. John Q. What the name is? Say it loud with me. John Q. You ain't know? Let's go now. Talking the realest in the business. Ain't no real competition is living. Who got a vision that's vivid? Ain't no goddamn gimmicks. No goddamn limits. John go hard till he finish. John Q. Tell him what it do. I can say a whole lot about the dude. Who? John Q. Working case after case. Let's get it. Goddamn it, he meant it. Who we talking about? John Q. Evidence to the proof. John only putting out the truth. He making it do. He taking you through. Never breaking the rule. An understatement when you say that he cool. Yeah, we talking about John Q. Anybody got a problem coming dollar? I will bet my bottom dollar and I put it on. John Q. Shit, he better than the news. Q the truth. Shit, we talking about John Q. Put your 8 balls up. Let's go. Get a drummer song. Let's get it. Just how we ride. Rockin' with the best. John Q. Just how we ride. John Q. Now back to the business. He the suspect or a witness. No bad intention. I don't think I even mention. John do it from the heart. He don't do it for attention. But the trolls still bitch. They should mind they business. They chillin' in the bush. Watching John get busy. We got a couple ranch like tricks. She get them out quickly. So everybody make sure they attend. We rockin' with a winner. Just how we ride. So you can keep all the division. Maybe you should try to uplift. Maybe John, he was born with the vision. Paint the picture with precision. Maybe if you listen, you just might get it. Cause it's a fact, John give whole YouTube shit. But it's still something acting real easy. John, he's a man on a mission. It's a fact that he did. Yeah, catch it if it's something real fishy. He's solid to the bone, he never switch. Alright, let's get it. Just how we ride.